All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon. In this video, we're going to talk about Errol Spence and a cryptic message that he released right on the tail end of reports coming out that he and Terence Crawford will not be fighting each other. And that tweet or that Instagram post points towards retirement. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to be in the 154, 147 pound division, where Dan Rafael, I think, is being a lot of weight is being put on something that Dan Rafael said on an interview yesterday or the day before yesterday with Stephen A. Smith regarding a lot of different issues, but specifically made a mention about the Errol Spence and Terence Crawford fight likely not happening for a variety of reasons, including Errol Spence Jr. having cataract surgery. Errol Spence Jr. puts out a tweet or Instagram post which says 1 or 2. Now, if you've paid any attention to Errol Spence Jr. for any amount of time, you know that he communicates very subtly, indirectly about things. And it is very clear, I do believe, what he's talking about. He's talking about 1 or 2 more fights. And then that is more than likely going to be it for Errol. Now, before I get into the details of it and tell you what I think about it, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. If you've been around for a long time and you support the channel, thank you so much, especially to everybody that supports in the super thanks. Let's get into this, though. First things first, I do not know that fight between Errol Spence and Terence Crawford is not going to happen. I don't know. I don't know. And the reason why I say that is because, number one, Dan Rafael didn't say it wasn't going to happen. Dan Rafael said it seems like it's not going to happen for a number of reasons, including the cataract surgery for Errol Spence Jr. Okay, so number one, that's him not saying that he knows that it's not taking place. Second, everything that he said is already public knowledge. That's nothing new. If you paid attention to this channel, you would have heard every bit of that. And he is essentially doing what a lot of people are doing, paying attention to the news, paying attention to very real news, real news, is things that are actually stated by the fighters, information that's actually put out there. Like, for example, the fact that Errol Spence Jr. had cataract surgery. That is absolutely 100% positively true news, because Errol Spence Jr. said it himself and he said it on social media. And so that's not like inside information that Dan Rafael has. So I'm not 100. I don't know for sure whether that fight is going to happen or whether the fight's not going to happen. Also, you have the fact that things get done, things that people think they're going to do, wind up just the next day not taking place. And I don't think a lot of the stuff is really set with the PBC and what's going on. I don't think the Canelo Alvarez fights are set with exactly who he's going to fight. The Terence Crawford, it's definitely not set with exactly who he's going to fight. Jaron Ennis, they are not. They make sure, in the words of Paul Magno, shout out to Paul Magno of Fight Hype, very good writer, said, look, man, these guys don't put their laundry out. You know, they don't put their half-done laundry out. So they're going to make sure that they have all their ducks in a row and know exactly what they're going to do before they make a formal announcement. And Tim Tszyu actually thought that he was going to be fighting Erickson Lubin, and Erickson Lubin winds up. He says, "I thought I was going to be fighting Erickson Lubin." He winds up all of a sudden fighting Keith Thurman, right? So if you would have asked Tim Tszyu who he's going to fight a week before, he would have hinted that it would have been Erickson Lubin. Erickson Lubin himself may have also thought the same thing, but boom, it comes down. Keith Thurman steps in. They make the fight with Keith Thurman. That could be the situation going on with Errol and Terence. It's just that nobody really knows. Now, as far as him saying 1 or 2 more fights, I like that. I just hope the 2 fights are this year. I think that it is without a doubt that Errol Spence Jr.'s body has been through a lot over the last several years. He's a very blessed individual to make the type of money that he makes and to have the type of security that he has, especially from the last fight that he had with Terence Crawford. So him getting 1 or 2 more fights, probably at 154 pounds, I think is a good thing. I think that if he doesn't fight Terence Crawford, the most likely fights for him is the winner of the Tim Tszyu versus Keith Thurman fight. I think that is a good possibility that that could be the case. Or he could just fight somebody like Terence Crawford. Now, I don't see him fighting Jaron Ennis. That I don't think that would be a good fight for him, walking towards the end of his career. But those 2 fights, I think that he could probably wind up getting in and being in a very good position to have. Probably one fight take one fight that is a tune-up, which he deserves, right? See how his body looks, see what he looks like. If he looks spectacular in the fight, then you get right into a championship fight. I don't think that Errol is somebody that's going to have another 10 fights, right? I don't think he's got another 5 years, another 5-6 years in the sport. I think he probably is, heading down towards the end of it. In large part, well, 2 things. Number 1, that car accident, and number 2, that fight that he had with Terence Crawford. That was a very savage fight, man, and a situation where many boxers, professional boxers say, that can take a lot of time out of you. I just hope that the man gets. I actually hope that he gets the Terence Crawford fight, and I hope that they work that out. Because number 1, for his perspective, I want to see him get an opportunity to get his get back and feel like, if he felt like he was in a ring and he was, other than whatever the normal wear and tear was on him, that he can show a lot better. I'd love to see him get that opportunity. The other thing is the situation with Terence Crawford. I want to see Terence Crawford in a good fight, an exciting fight, and a big fight. And I don't know which other ones there really is going to be realistically out there for him. The Canelo Alvarez fight, I still think that that's a pipe dream. And it's very interesting, that the headline that people ran with out of Dan Rafael and Stephen A. Smith, the conversation that they had was about what's not going to happen with Errol and Terence, but also not that what is not going to happen between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford. And that is that fight. That is something where, again, Terence Crawford, Dan Rafael said this, and this is why I'm telling you, all this stuff is just information that's readily available to everybody. And he's just really just giving his opinion like anybody else is giving his opinion. He said that he's never heard Canelo Alvarez act like he wants to fight Terence Crawford. And he really thinks that that's just kind of like a fan type of thing where people are just pretty much just saying stuff and wishing for something to take place. But anyway, we'll see what happens. We'll see if Errol Spence Jr. retires after the next fight or 2. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.